Dear students, welcome to this video lecture session. I am K. Karthik Vendan, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, Government College of Engineering, Srirangam, Trichy. In this video, we are going to prove three spaces, that is three domains, R power 3, that is R3, the set of all three tuples over R. Pn of R. Pn of R is set of all polynomials over R of degree at most n. And M 2 cross 2 of R. That is the set of all matrices over R of order 2, or we can say 2 by 2. If it is a square matrix, we can simply say it is a order 2. We are going to prove these three domains, these three sets where vector space over R under standard addition and standard scalar multiplication. Okay. See, we are not going to see the entire problems one by one, whereas we are going to see condition wise. See, to prove a set is a vector space, we need 10 conditions to be satisfied. We are going to take condition 1 and we are going to prove simultaneously for these three domains. Why we are giving this type of approach? The only reason is then only we people could adopt what the entire thing common in all the problems. If you are seeing problem by problem, you will be concentrating only on one structure at a time. Here we are having three different structures, that is R3 is one domain, Pn of R is another domain, M 2 cross 2 of R is another domain. So we are going to concentrate conditions by condition. See, for example, we will take condition 1. We will check for all the three sets, and we will go for condition 2 and we will check for all the sets. Similarly, we are going to proceed for all the 10 conditions. Okay. Before seeing that, I will just display a definition of a vector space. I am not going to explain the definition, whereas we will be checking out the conditions one by one. Okay. These were the 10 conditions. See, the definition is a non-empty set V is called a vector space over a field F with respect to two operations. One is called addition and scalar multiplication. They may define problem wise, they may define addition and scalar multiplication problem wise. In our problem, what we are going to see is the addition here is the standard addition and the scalar multiplication here is standard scalar multiplication, nothing else. So we are going to check whether these 10 conditions were satisfied for all the three domains. Okay. We will check out the first condition now for the three sets simultaneously. Okay. See, our overall assumption before checking the conditions, our overall assumption should be like this. We should take three vectors. We need three vectors from a vector set. Okay. From a vector set, we need three vectors. And from scalar set, I need two scalars. I am naming the scalars as alpha, beta. In general, I am just naming it. I don't know what is the vector set. And in general, I should keep the vector set as V and I should keep the scalar set as F, as we saw in the definition. Okay. For proving a set as a vector space, we need three vectors and two scalars on the whole. for all the 10 conditions we need that. Okay, now we will consider case by case. Our first case is R3. Okay, our first problem is R3. In R3, here the vector set is R3. That is why we have mentioned V equals to R3 and our scalar set is R. Why? Because the problem here is we are going to check R3 Pn of R, M2 cross 2 of R. These vector sets, we are going to prove these vector sets are the vector spaces over R. That over R means that is called scalar set. Okay, here in all the three problems the scalar set is R. Okay, now the overall assumption here is I should take 3 elements from R3. That is, I am just taking 3 elements, that is U, V, W. I am just taking from R3. So what will be the structure of U, V and W? U will be of 3 tuples, that is A1, A2, A3, and V will be B1, B2, B3, and W will be C1, C2, C3. Okay. Now the condition here is these 3 must belong to what? Real number. That is AI belongs to R, where I equals to 1, 2 and 3. Okay. So that is A1, A2, A3. Similarly, B1, B2, B3, C1, C2, C3, all those quantities belongs to R. That is what the set R3 represents. Okay. So if we are taking any element from R3, these were the properties that element have. Okay. That structure will be of 3 tuples and the property will be those 3 elements will belong to real number. Okay. So similarly, we are going for the next one, that is Pn of R. Okay. Now I should take 3 elements from Pn of R, that is U, V and W. I am just taking 3 elements from Pn of R. See, Pn of R is nothing but the set of polynomials over R. Over R means the coefficients should be real numbers. That is it. Very simple. What does this n represents? The maximum degree must be n. Okay. So U will be of this form A0 plus A1x plus A2x square plus etc. An x power n. Okay. So similarly, V will be B0 plus B1x, B2x square, Bn x power n, running up to that, and W will be C0, C1x plus C2x square plus running up to Cn x power n. See, this is the outer look for U. That is, now we have told you an element in Pn of R is a polynomial of degree maximum n. See here, the maximum degree is n. Maximum degree is n. Okay. It can be less than n also. I am not saying you it is exactly n. Of utmost degree will be n. Okay. Now, what is the another thing hidden here? Over R. Over R means the coefficients, that is A0, A1, A2, etc. up to An. That is A0, A1 up to An were real numbers. Simply we will be writing like this. Ai belongs to R, where I runs from 0, 1, 2 up to n, right? The suffixes. Okay. In simply in compact we have to write. Okay. So similarly, Ba as well as Ca belongs to R. That is, all the coefficients will belong to R. Okay. See, our third set is M2 cross 2 of R. Okay. Our third set is M2 cross 2 of R. In that I am just going to pick up 3 vectors. Again the same assumption we are just following for all the set. Okay, I can write this set as M2 of R also. I can write it out. Why? Because see, the number of rows and number of columns were the same. So I can just mention M2 of R also I can mention. Now the element will be of this form, that is it will be a 2 cross 2 matrix. So in this form only we will have every elements. See, V will be in B1, B2, B3, B4 and W will be C1, C2, C3, C4. Okay, apart from that, the very important thing is where we are picking up these 4 elements. These 4 elements we are picking from where? We are picking from real numbers. Okay, in simple we can write as AI belongs to R, where I equal to 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so similarly all B1, B2, B3, B4, C1, C2, C3, C4 belongs to R. On the whole I will be writing like this: AI, BI, CI belongs to R. What are the suffixes for I? 1, 2, 3 and 4. So here 4 elements, here 4 elements, here 4 elements. On the whole all the 12 elements belongs to real number. Okay, see, one common thing what we are following in the assumptions is we are taking U as A terms. We are just changing the suffixes, that's it. Okay, I am taking V as B terms and W as C terms. See, that is the uniformity we are following in all the problems. Okay, now we shall go to check the conditions one by one. Okay, see, this is condition number 1, that is we are taking V, that is V is the vector set, V is the vector set. Okay, I should take 2 elements from V and I should apply the operation, that is addition operation. That addition operation, when we are operating, the resultant will be U plus V. That U plus V should be in this set itself. See, this should not happen for any 2 elements. This should happen for all the 2 elements. You can take, there may be infinite elements in V. Okay, in the vector set there may be infinite elements. The closure property here is when you say that addition satisfies closure property. Okay, when you can say is you should take randomly 2 vectors and you should add that resultant also should be in the same set. If it fails for any one's pair also, we could not say V is closed under addition. Okay, this is what the first condition. Now we are going to see this condition satisfied for all the 3 domains what we are seeing it now. Okay, see, take the first set, that is R3. See, what is our assumption now? As per definition, what we saw is I should take 2 elements from vector set. Here the vector set is R3. So I am taking U and V from R3. What I am going to prove? U plus V belongs to V. Now the vector set is R3. So I am going to prove this. U plus V must belong to R3. How I am proving that? Now first of all I should find out what is U plus V. Okay, what is U plus V? See, in the initial assumptions itself we took U as A1, comma A2, comma A3. That is what the assumption we took earlier for all the 3 sets. You just have a glance now. See, these were the assumptions we took for U, V and W earlier. Okay, U must be A series, V must be B series and W must be C series throughout the problem. That is whatever it is for all the 10 conditions, these were the assumptions. That is what we have assumed it earlier itself. Okay. See, now our aim is to prove u plus v belongs to R3. See, so first of all, I should find out what is u plus v. Okay. I am just simply substituting u and v. That's it. That is what we are going to see for all the domains. Okay. I am just taking one at a time, and it is in a similar fashion we will be proving the other two. Okay. Now u plus v means we should add the component wise, that is this component and this component must be added. Okay, that is a1 plus b1 will be the first component. The second component will be a2 plus b2, that is I should add the respective components. That's it. So a3 plus b3. Okay, that is what displayed here. So I should claim this belongs to R3. Okay, I should claim this belongs to R3. When I can say this 3 tuple belongs to R3, structure wise it is okay. R3 means set of all 3 tuples, then it is okay, 3 tuples only. But more than that, I need these a1 plus b1, a2 plus b2, a3 plus b3, everything must belongs to R. Okay. Would you say these things belongs to R? Yes, of course. Why? Because in our assumption, this a1, a2, a3, b1, b2, b3 all were real numbers. Adding 2 real numbers will give you the same real numbers. Okay. So that is what we are proving in all the 3 cases. See, the domain only is the difference. In our first problem, the domain is R3. In our second problem, the domain is Pn of R. In the third problem, the domain is M2 cross 2 of R. Okay. See, our second set of consideration is Pn of R. Okay. See, here also we are going to take 2 elements, that is u and v. I am just taking 2 elements in Pn of R. What is the structure of Pn of R? As I mentioned earlier, in the assumptions itself we have mentioned it clearly. U will be of the structure a0 plus a1x running up to an x power n. Similarly, v will be b0 plus b1x plus running up to bn x power n. So what will be u plus v? U plus v will be, we will be adding here coefficient wise. Here see the constant coefficient here is a0 and b0. So I should add those coefficients, and I am taking x quantities common. So I will be getting a1 plus b1. It's a very simple algebra, right? That is, we are just simply adding 2 polynomials. If you are adding 2 polynomials, what we people used to do in a normal manner, we will be adding the coefficients of x. For example, 3x and the another coefficient polynomial you are having 5x means you will be adding like 3 plus 5, 8 into x. Like that only, in a similar fashion only we are doing this, right? So an plus bn into x power n. So I should check whether this belongs to Pn of R. That is what our task again and again. See, the same argument will be made on all the problems. That is what I am telling you. In our video, we are maintaining the uniformity on assumptions, uniformity on each and every steps, right? See, these coefficients, that is a0 plus b0, a1 plus b1, an plus bn, all belongs to R. Why it all belongs to R? Why? Because this AI series, that is AI series and BI series, both belongs to R. Again, the same argument we are putting up, that is addition of 2 real numbers is again a real number. Okay. Again, just take this set. I am not going to write it out now. Now the domain is M2 cross 2 of R. The same thing we are going to prove. I should prove u plus v belongs to M2 cross 2 of R. So I should find out, first of all, I should find out what is u plus v. That is what we are doing in all the 3 cases. I am just finding out what is u plus v. That is what I am finding out. Okay, what is u plus v? And then only I am just checking it whether it belongs to our domain, that is what we took in the initial stage, that domain, in that domain whether that element is present or not, that is what we are doing it now. Okay, that is the process, right? So first thing I should find out what is u plus v. Again, u is this and v is this as per the initial assumptions. Adding two matrices means we will be adding the elements in the respective positions. Okay, here a1, here b1, so I am adding a1 plus b1. Similarly I am doing for all the four cells. Okay, and again it belongs to m2 cross 2 of r. Why? Again it is a 2 cross 2 matrix. Over r means these elements, these four elements will be real number. Again the argument is the same. Addition of two real numbers is again a real number. Okay, next we go for the next condition. Okay, this is condition number 2. The condition number 2 is I should check the set is closed under scalar multiplication. That is, initially we will be given one vector set and one scalar set. In general we notate like this. Okay, one vector set and one scalar set. I should take one vector and one scalar, and I should say whether this, I am just taking the vector as u, and I should say whether this scalar product, that is scalar into vector, is called as scalar product, that is scalar multiplication, belongs to a vector, that is the same vector set what we took. That quantity must present inside the vector itself, vector set itself. That is, I am just taking u from this set and I am taking alpha from a scalar set, and I should say alpha u belongs to the same vector set what we are taking. Okay, make a note. In general, in lower classes we will be saying a scalar is this and vector is this, right? What will be the resultant? It is a vector. Keep in mind. So u is a vector, alpha is a scalar, means alpha u will be a vector. Keep that in mind. So that must be belonging to the same vector set what we are taken for consideration. Okay, for every u, it should not miss for any one element also. Okay, see, first thing, we have to check all the 10 conditions. If any one condition got failed, we can say the set is not a vector space. Okay, so primarily we just check whether the set is closed under standard addition and scalar multiplication, that is standard scalar multiplication. In our problem we are seeing standard scalar multiplication, that is why I am mentioning the word standard. In other problems they may give, according to the problem, they may give different addition and different scalar multiplication apart from standard one. Okay, see again, here the vector set is the first case. Here the vector set is R3, the scalar set is R. We should keep that in mind for every conditions. I should say what is the vector set and what is the scalar set. Okay, for scalar multiplications both the sets must be taken under consideration, whereas for addition only vector set will be taken for consideration. Okay, now what we are going to prove is, I should take one alpha from R and I should take one vector from R3, and I should say alpha u must belong to R3. First of all, I should find out what is alpha u, that is alpha into A1, A2, A3. This is what u, as we assumed earlier. So this is alpha A1, alpha A2, alpha A3. We are just continuing multiplying it component wise. Okay, so this belongs to R3. Why I am saying that? See, alpha is a real number, A1 is also a real number. So alpha A1 product of two real numbers will be a real number. Keep in mind, addition and product of two real numbers will be a real number. So these three quantities belongs to real numbers. So this is the structure for R3. What is the structure for R3? You should have three quantities. Those three quantities must be what? Real numbers. Okay. Now we shall see the next domain, that is Pn of R. Pn of R is what our next domain. So I am taking a vector from Pn of R and I am taking alpha from the scalar set, that is R. The same parallelly we are just match it. Okay. Here I am taking U from vector set and alpha from scalar set. That is the uniformity I am just trying to show you. Okay. Now I have to show alpha U must belong to Pn of R. Now first of all I should find out what is alpha U. So alpha into U. Alpha into what is U? U is A0 plus A1x plus running up to An x power n. This is what? U. Okay. Now this alpha gets multiplied. Again I should say whether it belongs to Pn of R. What is the structure for Pn of R? Pn of R structure is, it is a polynomial of maximum degree n. Okay. Then the coefficients must be a real number. See, check any quantity. We know that alpha is a real number and ai is a real number. So alpha ai, product of two real numbers, is again a real number. Okay. Now again the same way of explanation will be made for M2 cross 2 of R. See, if you are seeing a single problem, the people should able to do all the problems in that topic. That is what very important. Okay. So comparative study is very important. That is why we are seeing condition by condition, not domain by domain. I am just taking three domain at a time and we are checking condition by condition and just checking out. So for two conditions have been checked out. Remaining 8 conditions were very simple and it won't take that much time. Okay. Let me see it. Okay. See, the third property is commutative property with respect to standard addition. And the commutative property is very simple. For every two vectors in the vector set, it may be anything, R3 or Pn of R, sorry, here the content must be M2 cross 2 of R. It is being made mistake, right? For every two vectors in a vector set, U plus V must be equals to V plus U. Already in first property, we have found out U plus V. That is what we are doing it in all the cases. Okay. The next thing we are going to find out V plus U. That's it. Again, we are just changing the order of addition. See, if you are adding 2 plus 3 as well as 3 plus 2, it won't be different. Addition is commutative, whereas minus is not commutative. These were different, right? 2 minus 3 is different. 3 minus 2 is different. Okay. So, under standard addition, under all the domains, if the addition is standard, the commutative property will be satisfied, whatever may be the domains. The thing is very simple. These additions were clearly explained on the first condition itself. The same thing we are doing it here. We are finding out U plus V as well as V plus U, and we are just only one step here we do in excess. What is that? This b1 plus a1 will be equal as a1 plus b1. So we are just checking out these two elements were the same. Okay, that is what the similar pattern will be followed in those two sets. Okay, see, the condition 4 is associative property. See, the associative property is very simple. We have to take three quantities from the vector set. I am just taking any set we can take, m2 cross 2 of R. If I am taking from m2 cross 2 R of R or R3 or Pn of R, we need three vectors, and what we have to prove is we have to show u plus v plus w equals to u plus v plus w. See, here we are adding three vectors, that's it. The order of addition is different in these two places. Associative property is, even though the order of addition changes, the result will be the same. That is what the property of associative is. Okay, now simply take a standard addition like this. You are adding 2 plus 3 plus 5. If you are adding in this manner, what you will be getting? 2 plus 8, that is 10. If I am adding like this, if I am just changing the brackets, again the order of operation only different, whereas the resultant will be the same. Again, these additions were the same what we saw in property 1, that is condition 1 we saw. What is the condition? I should check u plus v also belongs to the same domain. So in that case we found out addition of two vectors, right? Here also we are adding only two vectors at a time. I am not adding all the three at a time. See, for example, take this u plus v plus w. See, in what way we have to represent a problem, represent our answer. That is what very important. I have substituted u and I have put a square bracket, and within that I have substituted the values of v and w. So here first we must add v and w. With that result we have to add u. Okay, the addition is the same as we defined in condition 1. There are no changes in that. So I am adding these two vectors and I am just adding the resultant with u. So I am getting this. Similarly, here the order of addition only changes. So here also we will get the same result. So this is the same thing we will be proceeding for every domain. No changes in that. Okay, whatever the domain is, the condition is the same. We have to check all the 10 conditions are valid or not. If any one condition is failure, you can stop at that. Okay, but the order of conditions, kindly follow the conditions what we are seeing in this video. Okay, right, next we shall see the next condition. See, the fifth condition is existence of identity. So first of all, we should know what the condition is exactly. That is what. See, let this be a set. Okay, let this be a set. I am just taking this as R. Before getting into this, exactly what our domain is, before getting into this, see, we should study property wise, not problem wise. Keep in mind. So our aim is I should find out one identity. For the entire set only, there will be only one identity element. That is called as identity element. See, now our operation is plus. The identity element is nothing but it is an element which does not change the another element when it gets added to it. See, for example, I am taking an element as 2 I should add some number, but the result should be 2. That is, when you are combining with this, I don't know what is this. When I am combining with this, I should get the same number whatever I am taking for all the elements in R. 4 plus dash equal to 4, like that. So 0 only, right? So with respect to addition, the identity element is 0. See, in R3 you will be having 0, 0, 0. In Pn of R you will be having 0 polynomial. Whereas in M2 cross 2 of R we will have 0, 0, 0, 0, right? So with this, if you are adding, you are going to get the same element. That is, u plus 0 will be equal to u. That is what we used to define like this. For every element in the vector, whatever we are taking, whatever domain I am taking, there must be a 0 element. That is what I am just, there exists a vector 0. I am just representing it by capital O. Okay. There must be a vector called 0 vector satisfying this condition, that is u plus O will be equal to u. So with respect to standard addition, the identity element is very, very simple. 0 element is called the identity element with respect to standard addition. Keep in mind, each and every time I am just mentioning standard addition. Okay. So with respect to that, 0 is the identity element that will be there in each and every domain. That is, in R3 I can find out 0, 0, 0. So this belongs to R3. Pn of R, I can find out this. This belongs to Pn of R. See, in 2 cross 2 matrix 0, 0, 0, 0. This belongs to M2 cross 2 of R, as 0 is a real number, right? 0 is a real number. So the identity exists. That is what condition number 5, right? See, the condition number 6 is, there must be an inverse for each and every element. See, before that, what is the inverse? Again, I am just taking the set of real numbers. Why? Because here our scalar is real numbers. That is what I am taking the set of real numbers under consideration every time. See, I am just taking 2. The condition here is, I am just going to find out what is the inverse of 2. What is the inverse of 2? Okay. Inverse meaning is, this is what the inverse. With the inverse, if I am operating this, I should get the 0 element. Okay. I should get the 0 element. What will be the element we have to fill here? So what number you will be adding with 2 to get 0? It is minus 2. Okay. With 4, I should add minus 4. With minus 5, I should add 5 to get the identity element. See, proper definition is this. For every vector in R3 or Pn of R or M2 cross 2 of R, right? There must be existing another vector. There must be existing another vector such that if you are adding these two vectors, I should get the 0 element. So without finding out what is the 0 element, we could not proceed this condition. Keep in mind. Okay. Now, since here in our problem, the addition is standard addition, we can clearly say the negative of the element is the inverse. See, for example, in R3, if the element is A1, A2, A3, its inverse will be minus A1 minus A2 minus A3. So if I am adding these two, I will be getting the 0 element in R3. Okay, that inverse also belongs to the same domain. That is what I am telling you. Just very simple. There exists V. I have simply put the same thing in all the problems. See, there exists V equals to minus U. Why I am putting strongly minus U here? In other cases we won't put. Keep in mind, in other cases we won't put it is minus U. Why? Because since in this problem we are proceeding standard addition, we are instantly putting it is minus U. Okay, we will be seeing the problems apart from standard addition also. In those cases, you should not put like this V equals to minus U. So if I am operating with minus U, I will be getting 0. The simple addition gives you the result. Okay. See, to check condition 7, I need two vectors in scalar set. Okay, in scalar set, in general we are taking as F. In our problem it is R, and I should take one vector from vector set. Okay, one vector from vector set. I am taking R3 under consideration. What I should prove is, see, this is what I have to prove. That is alpha plus beta into U equal to alpha U plus beta U. See, you can pause the video while watching and there you can check out what were written here. What were written here, and you can hold for a minute and you can see what were the steps adopted. While listening condition by condition, you just pause the video and check it out instantly, right? Now, the thing is we have to prove alpha plus beta into U equals to alpha U plus beta U. It's very simple. Now, see, for example, how we are proceeding the scalar multiplication. See, alpha plus beta into U is, for example, A1, A2, A3, right? That is what we have taken in case of R3. Okay. Now, I am just multiplying this quantity here. So, it will go here, it will go here, and it will go here. So, I will be getting alpha plus beta A1, alpha plus beta A2, comma alpha plus beta A3. Okay. Now, you can multiply alpha inside so that I will be getting alpha A1 plus beta A1 as the first component, alpha A2 plus beta A2 as the second component, alpha A3 plus beta A3 as the third component. Okay. Now, we have to find out alpha U plus beta U. So, this is what the step we have done here. See here, alpha U plus beta U means I have substituted alpha, U is A1, A2, A3 plus beta, again the same U is A1, A2, A3. I have multiplied alpha here and I have multiplied beta here, and we are adding component wise. So, you will be getting this content and this content were equal. Okay. The same pattern is followed for all the domains. Now we are taking only 3 domains. There are many domains like that. With respect to standard addition and standard scalar multiplication, matrices itself you can do many things. M2 cross 3R, M3 cross 2R, M3 cross 3 of R, like that. In Pn of R, it may be the case for P2 of R, you may see P3 of R also. There are domains. See, in R power means R2, R3, R power n also they may ask. But the logic is the same. Okay, there will be no changes in the logic, right? So the condition 8 is, both 7th condition and 8th condition were named as distributive property. See, in condition 7 we had 2 scalars. Whereas in condition 8, I am taking only one scalar. In condition 7, you had only one vector, whereas here I am taking 2 vectors. Okay, 2 vectors. I am just taking from M2 cross 2 of R. Okay. Now our aim is to prove that alpha into U plus V equals to alpha U plus alpha V. Okay. Now, I am just finding out alpha into U plus V. So alpha into what is U in case of M2 cross 2 of R? It is a 2 by 2 matrix. U means it is A series, V is B series. So I will be adding these two components component wise. So A1 plus B1, A2 plus B2, here A3 plus B3 and A4 plus B4. Now I will be multiplying alpha inside, so that I will be getting alpha A1 plus alpha B1, alpha A2 plus alpha B2, alpha A3 plus alpha B3, alpha A4 plus alpha B4. Okay. So similarly I have to find out alpha U plus alpha V, and I should multiply the scalar here, and I should add these two matrices. The resultant will be the same. This is what the case, the same thing holds for what? The remaining every domains, right? So the condition 9 is, I need two scalars. Again, I need one vector. I am taking from R3. What I have to prove is alpha beta into U equals to alpha into beta U. See, here I am taking from Pn of R for difference. We are taking in all the conditions R3 and M2 cross 2 of R. Here I am taking from Pn of R. See, now I am just finding out alpha beta into U. See, alpha beta into U will be here A0 plus A1x plus up to an x power n. Now I have to multiply alpha beta inside, so that I will be getting this term. Very simple addition and multiplication. Only written work is there. Once you are aware of all those 10 conditions, what were those 10 conditions and how we are implementing those for simplifying, that is what important. Okay, it's a very simple thing. Now I am just finding out alpha into beta U. See, what I have to do is first I have to find out beta U, like this. Alpha into beta U is A0 A1x plus an x power n. So I am just multiplying beta inside. Very simple. Here in the first case we have multiplied both alpha beta. The entire thing is multiplied inside. Here we are multiplying one by one. That is what. Okay. So if alpha gets inside, you will be having both the terms were equal. Okay. Only one more condition is left out. The 10th condition is very simple logic, very simple. We have to prove for every vector. I am taking the vector set as here M2 cross 2 of R. I should prove 1 into U. 1 is 1 here, right? 1 into U must be equal to U. You people may ask, what is there in it? 1 into U will always be equal to U. I will be sure. There are many examples which will be failing this condition. Here in this case we are dealing with standard addition and standard scalar multiplication. Here we won't be bothering these things. These things will be satisfied just like that. Okay, 1 into U will be this, right? So the resultant will be A1, A2, A3 and A4. So it will be equals to U again. There is no doubt in that. Okay. So these 10 conditions were satisfied. So you should conclude like this. R3 is a vector space over R. Pn of R is a vector space over R. Right? Whatever domain they have given you, you should tell that is a vector space over R. Thank you, students.